Good morning. Welcome to 4x8 Paper Stuff, October Daily 2024. This is Beth. We are doing the rest of the Sherlock Holmes novels. I found a bag at a garage sale. Today is Jumper from Tower Bridge. I found a bag, a burlap sack at a garage sale, and I wanted the burlap sack. So I picked it up, but inside were 30 more novels of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's series, Sherlock Holmes. Yep. And these are the covers and the synopsis of the stories. I added I added a resting page right there. I also added all my stories to the back of the covers. Now that I am kind of back up to speed, I'm trying to put a tab here, but I didn't make it a tab. So I'm going to take that off and try it again, but it'll be off camera. About a little over halfway through this video is the synopsis of today's story. I'm making you watch the whole video. I know, sneaky, sneaky. But really, it's not the whole video. But anyhow, I'm going to interrupt myself with the synopsis. So I'm looking for today's main page, and I have a few papers that came with this binder, I think they did. And they're all black or dark. But I didn't want to use any of those. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I know why I didn't know what I wanted to do. At this point, I had forgotten to put on my magic bracelet that says I'm Sherlocked. And that will help me with the process. But I like that page right there on the left-hand side. And this is another page that I painted months ago. Probably it looks like a paintbrush clean-off page. But in the eye of the beholder, or me, it could be a cover from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle that was just now discovered. I think that's what it could be. So, I am watching the Hurricane Milton stuff coming through. This is Wednesday morning. Well, almost noon. And it's slowing, it's weakening in strength, but it's still a massive hurricane. And but it's not going to be as massive, hopefully. It's supposed to be on the east coast of Florida by tomorrow evening. Today for you. So hopefully. And they're staging stuff in the place that it came through a week ago. In Perry, Florida, which is where it made landfall. Helene made landfall in Perry, Florida, and then curved up towards us. It's crazy. So I want to make a title. Now this is the jumper or jumpers of Tower Bridge. Now, when you get to the story, you'll realize it's not somebody jumping off the bridge, but I can't tell you the rest. So I want to, well, I'm going to tell you the rest because I'm looking for some letters. I need R-O-P-E. And do they hang themselves off the Tower Bridge? Can't tell you yet. And these are some of these collage letters that you can buy these books on Amazon, which I absolutely love. And I have some of my own collage letters too. But then I'm like, after I cut them all apart, I changed my mind, as I frequently do. But anyhow, and I'm doing a voiceover because there's chainsaws everywhere. I think there were 4 in the yard 2 yards away yesterday all day. And every once in a while you hear this kaboom where part of a tree came down that they are trying to get away from the neighbor's chimneys to see if there's been any structural damage to the house from the yard next door. I mean, it's been an education. I know more about trees than I wanted to ever know. Anyhow, this is where I remembered I didn't have my bracelet on. I was trying to get to an ink pad. And I didn't unpack my boxes that I took to the beach because I'm going again next week for the rest of whatever. And if we can get the tree guys here, it looks like I might be having Gunnar for a while by myself. I did last year too, and he was pitiful. But this year, he has 2 messed up knees. So, it's going to be real fun. But I probably will stay downstairs so that he doesn't have to go up the stairs. Because he has to follow you around. So, the better me staying downstairs till my husband gets there. Because I don't want to pick him up all the time. Anyhow, so I decided to make my own letters on some of my own scraps. Because I have a couple scraps hanging around. And these are just blocky enough, this letter stamps, are blocky enough and perfect for what I want to do. So I get those all stamped out. And some of these papers I've made and made and made. And I love this one with a little bit of gold. And I already have the title made on kind of like a beigey peach background that I did on Procreate 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So some of this will go perfect. You know, I have all these grand ideas ahead of time. Oh, I'm going to, use one of these Ali Edwards pages for reference. Oh, I have finally convinced myself that I'm not good at pocket pages. I love watching people do them, but they don't look good at my end when I try to do them. So then I'm like, oh, mixed media. Am I getting away from a suitable book cover from the 1800s? Possibly. But when you find things like this in a burlap sack at a garage sale in England, there are no rules. Correct? Correct. So I'm using this piece of paper. I think this was another paintbrush wipe-off page, and then I added some more stuff to it. But there's also a lot of gold. And our jumper / jumpers might win gold. So I'm good with the gold. The picture that I printed is from my pictures of Tower Bridge. And then I have the story there and then the little title that I made. Now, in the beginning, I started making titles small to try to conserve paper because, trees. But now that I have all these trees down in my yard, I'm not conserving paper. That's not a good way to look at it. I know. But I'm kind of tucking myself out of these tiny titles. Anyhow, I only made like 6 or 7 of them, so I will run out of them eventually. But in the meantime, I'm going to use them. So I'm trying to figure out how I can spell how to do the rope. And there's a little bit of color on that paper under the letters. So that might come into play. I don't want them perfectly straight. I don't want anything perfectly straight. So I kind of have where the story will go, which is on the narrower piece of paper. And then on the 6x8 piece of paper, the title will be there. That's the cover. And then the synopsis that goes on the other side. So I'm just trying to add texture, some finishing bits. I don't know what they're really called, but grounding elements, I guess, or finishing bits, which to me, the outline does that. It kind of corrals things in a little bit. There's a lady on TV. I'm just looking at it. I'm not listening to it, but she looks like she's in the cast of Cats. I think she's already been through the hurricane. I'm sorry, lady. That was mean of me to say it about you. So the Jumpers of Tower Bridge. That is our title of this book. And I'm going to add a little bit of gold here and there because some of the letters were on gold paper or a little bit of gold. So I'm just kind of swooshing it here and there and adding a little bit abstractly. That's a word now. Yeah. And then I found this little piece of paper and I'm like, how can I incorporate that? I know. Is that not crazy? But FYI, I don't end up using it. So it's like, really? Really? That little 1.5 inch piece of paper has to be on this page, huh? So now I'm kind of like, okay, this is really, really bare. What else can I do? So I get out the rest of that piece of paper and I add more gold. And trying to dry off my paintbrush a little bit because it's wet, really wet. And just splash a little gold here and there as one does. And if some of these pages I don't like, it's not my fault. It's the power of the magic bracelet making me do things that I normally would not do. That's not true. I probably would do them. The Jumpers of Tower Bridge. A girls' jump rope troupe from London called the Jumpers of Tower Bridge are in trouble. 2 days before the South England jumping contest, all of the jumpers' ropes have been stolen. Was it the competition who stole them or worse? Never fear. A request for the most extraordinary consulting detective in all of England has been issued. Come quick, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. So now you know the story, the synopsis of the story. So the gold. I think these girls won. They must have found their jump ropes. Sherlock Holmes came to the rescue just in time. But because the jumper of Tower Bridge, the way I cut it out was kind of abstract, and I kind of was following the shape of the beige on the paper, everything else needed to be abstract on this whole thing. Not a true shape, not a real parallelogram, not a real triangle or whatever. But then I decided to add a little bit of the coral, because there's coral on that paper also, and there's also a tiny bit of turquoise. But I just want bits and pieces of it. Just snippets, not anything in your face or close to being a real shape or close to being big. I just want snippets. And I'm just doing this with markers, and these are the Crayola markers that I use quite a bit. I like them. The best bang for your buck, in my opinion. Are they all water soluble? I don't know, but I don't put water on top of them. So for me, they work. But I just added just a tiny bit, and then I added dots next to the turquoise because I don't know why. Maybe that's the handle of the jump rope. I don't know. I'm just doing what Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wanted me to do. So, or whatever he wanted his graphic artist to do. I'm just representing the graphic artist. But this gold is all wet. Now I'm trying to glue stuff on it, and it's wet. So I tried to dry it off with my little towel. And then I kind of smudged stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I like the smudged gold also. So I like how this turned out. It took me a while to get there. I'm watching, storm warnings the whole way through. Listening to chainsaws 2 doors down. We're going to have to put curtains up in our house. We have no curtains on any walls. That's not true. There's curtains in my craft room. They're blinds. And there's blinds in the bedroom that Bella's in. But we don't have anybody around us that can see in our house because there were so many trees. Guess what? The trees are gone or on their way out. And I'm like, we might have to get some curtains around here, or shutters or blinds or something. Anyhow, so I actually kind of replaced the letters the rope letters are on colorful paper, and then the Tower Bridge was on colorful paper, the title. So I put a little colorful paper on the back also. And kind of just reversed the elements of black and color. Just having a grand old time. Adding a little bit of gold. I guess the jump rope girls won gold because there's a lot of gold on this. But I don't think that spoils the plot of the story. Hopefully. I didn't give you any spoilers. But this paintbrush here is stiff as a board because it was not in any kind of water. But it lends itself to great abstract marks. So, works for me. I really like this one. It's kind of out there, color-wise, and thought process the whole way through. But I really do like it. And that's what I'm after. So anyhow, this will go in the book. Thanks for watching, as always. And I will see you tomorrow with another cover from Sherlock Holmes and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Bye.